good evening, and welcome to another exciting edition of, and by another exciting edition, I mean the last edition of Seasons Beatings Beatdown. I'm TheKiest.
I am McFly. We're wearing ties.
We are. It's a very, very important day, because it was the last day at Seasons Beatings, and quite a lot happened today. But more importantly, before we even get to that, we're going to look at what happened last night. Oh my gosh, right after we were done recording. It was, I'm going to put my knee up here. It was something else, because as we mentioned, the Mario scores were tied between Pops and T800. A nice solid 247.
Yes. What they got to win that event yesterday. As co-champions.
Yeah, so they decided to split the money. But what happened was, after Pops fell asleep, T800 decided, you know what? I got a theory. And that theory got him to break it by 1 second. So he's at 248.
Pops was completely asleep.
Yes.
So we had to wake him up. And we were on the Wii, so he could hit the home button. So we woke up Pops. We said, we're going to unpause it. Look at the top corner. Look at the top corner of the screen, and you can see the numbers. And Pops was completely broken.
Very broken.
I don't know. His reaction was that he started counting up from 1 to 4.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was just, we woke him up, he looked at the screen and just went 1, 2, 3, 4. In which time my buddy McFly here said, is Pops rebooting?
I assumed he was rebooting. And that he was a robot.
And then I pointed at the number and said 247. And then he said that.
I said 248.
No, yeah, sorry, 248. And then he said 248 4 times, and then just fell over and went back to bed.
Immediately unconscious.
Apparently, when we woke up the next morning, he did not remember any of this. Which is pretty fantastic, if you ask me. Oh, yeah. Man. Just amazing.
Although, to be fair, they didn't stop. Like, the event was over, and then T800 decided he was going to try to get one more second because he had this idea. And then today, before we went back to Momo's, T800 and Pops just decided they were going to do a whole lot more. And they gained, I think, 6 or 7 seconds.
Right. I remember at one point I was texting them asking when they were going to be there. At one point, McFly answers, "Oh, they're at 2. They're tied at 250 right now." And then at one point he texts us like 10 minutes later saying 253 all of a sudden, which is hilarious because I talked to the guys and kept mentioning to them. So like, yeah, those guys, they're still competing over this time thing, even though they've already won your money. And I told them that they broke it by another 6 seconds, and they're like, "What? That's insane." And I said, "Yeah, I think it's even more insane that they're still doing this." So it's kind of, it was just kind of funny.
I got to give props to those Focus Fire guys. They were great.
Yes, they were. Very good. What I did when I got there is I watched a few games and just played more people in Street Fighter. It's pretty fun. I actually got to play people that were actually in my pool that I ran, so that was kind of interesting to see, like, oh, let's see how I do against those days. The guy who got third in my pool, so top 48 or something like that, which he gave me props for, like, I was able to take a round off his Z Honda, so that was kind of fun.
Sweet.
But and then I played the local Bison player who was also in that pool that I think he got 13th or something like that, but I hate that fight, the Bison Ryu fight. I just don't know. You have to be so patient.
I'm scared of Bisons. They just do crazy magic things, and I don't understand them.
They're built to rule the world.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what they do. They just, conquer everything, and you're part of the subset of everything. Thus, Bison's just going to run you over.
Yeah. Even
when two other Bisons collide, they kind of conquer themselves, and thus become better. Because it's like the whole spiritual thing. If you can defeat yourself, then you can defeat all enemies. But they're defeating themselves constantly, thus it's a mess. Anyways, I almost beat him. Went to do my ultra Ultra wasn't there because a lot of people like to turn those triples off, and I didn't change my controls. That was it. Lost it. But it was funny because the Spicing player literally was just there while like 3 other players, including myself, were roughly the same skill level trying to beat this guy, but none of us were coming close. It was just kind of funny, but I'll get to play him another time, so it's good. And let's see. And I'm
trying to think of what fighters I've even played today. I did play on their Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 machine, which was the loudest.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Thing. Well, at least the loudest arcade machine I've ever seen. It was crazy.
It was as if the voice of God was empowering this device to just be like, be sound.
Yeah.
And there was sound. Lots of Mortal Kombat sounds, but lots of sounds.
Lots of sounds. The Mortal Kombat machine they have there, we didn't. Me and T800 played on it. We didn't use this feature because I find it appalling. I think he does too. Which is that it has regular arcade controls for the regular panel for it, but they rigged it up so that you can plug in PlayStation controllers and use those instead. And I saw a lot of players doing that, and it seemed like a waste. Why would you? Like, that's a game that's on consoles, and you can play it with a controller, and it's not.
Plus, it's the cabinet itself. It's like
if you have the cabinet, then you gotta play with that. And they were like standing too far apart. Part of playing a fighting game, an arcade fighting game, is standing like right next to each other, and it just makes it so much more.
Yeah, you get to gut check each other when you're getting comboed. Oh, wait, that's not how I play. Is that legal?
It's not illegal.
Oh!
Which means, yes, it's encouraged.
But more importantly, just describe more of the attire. Something we kind of planned this weekend was kind of wanted a more formal approach to the tournament. Hence our stuff there, because they already gave us some fun things to wear, like, bust out the dog tag right there. Kind of show them that. They probably won't be able to read this, but yeah, everyone who paid got one of these dog tags, and that was kind of like your badge for the weekend. Yes.
There it is.
Yeah, that's nice. We got good lighting in this room.
Yeah, I like
last time. But, so yeah, we got that. I guess I could grab my TO bracelet. But, yeah, it's my TO bracelets. Here we go. Yes, Godlike. Which is the name of the group that ran this tournament. But
for vowels.
Yeah, they really are. God doesn't use vowels. I don't think. Does he need to?
I don't know.
Probably
not.
Kind of beyond me at this point. But I guess he wouldn't need consonants either, though. No, he needs those.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta make words.
I guess, but I mean, we have to. He might not have to. Yeah, I don't know. This is a little too deep and out of topic for this, so I will continue to keep driving this topic out of proportions by just assuming that he uses a collective forms of smell to do everything.
Right.
Words
that's
aren't
the main sense.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, God created the world by smells. Anyway, back to us moral matters of Seasons Beatings and the formal attire stuff. But it was kind of cool because, like, something that I kind of got this from some of the Columbus TOs at OSI. When they run their events, every member who's running events in a formal attire kind of adds a little more of the atmosphere effect to it, which is something I kind of strive for in my tournaments as well. Plus, it's kind of funny because when I go to the Columbus fight nights that happen on Wednesdays, I would come from work, have to wear this to work every day, more or less. So everyone's like, wow, you're like the most professional gamer ever. Little do they know that I'm part of OUGA, and that is completely not the case ever. And that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Although we're professionals at being awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. So, we'll work on a more awesome handshake because we are awesome. But if we did too much awesome, it might break this webcam. So, we'll avoid that for now. But But it was nice. We got the formal attire thing. We had me, him. We had Pops, T800, missed the memo, borrowing a shirt, but at least he had a tie, so that was kind of cool.
He had a tie and a Mike Hagar shirt. So I think that's...
Oh, it is Mike Hagar.
It's a start, yeah.
It's a start. Which I had a Mike Hagar shirt. Gosh, that guy's beastly. And, importantly, we had an important guest star today. Oh, man. So, we mentioned Barry Limeade last time. Then I was able to achieve Polar Blast.
Yes.
And this,
we got Polar Blast.
We got Polar Blast. We not only got Polar Blast, but we got, you'll see it uploaded later, we got a picture of Polar Blast fighting the Barry Limeade
Blast, yeah.
in that Ultimate Mortal Kombat cabinet. It's pretty fantastic. The only way that would have made it better is if, well, who's the Red Ninja's name? Is it
Ermac.
Yeah, it's Ermac versus Sub-Zero.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been... But we dropped the ball on that one, but that's okay. We got action shots of Polar Blast, kind of like this one right here.
Action.
That's some good Power Blast. Oh man, I highly recommend this. It's pretty awesome. So yes, Polar Blast came. We all got pictures of that. That was fun. We got pictures of the tire. Got zoom in pictures of my awesome Hadoken thing here. That was a gift. I saw someone with that shirt completely, and I was like, "Oh wow, that guy just topped this button I'm wearing." At least I think I could beat him in something. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell in this group, but
yeah,
maybe Tekken. But
we got a picture, a group picture, an OUGA group picture, with both Polar Blast, or I think it was Barry Limeade Blast.
Yeah,
a blast.
It was a blast.
And an NBA Jam machine that apparently they went to the trouble of wheeling in and then never turned on.
Yeah, they never had time to run the event because it was just so much hype today.
It doesn't even really matter. Just turn it on. I'll play it all day.
He would have.
From downtown.
Indeed. Until he was on fire.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would have caught on fire. I mean, you'd think they'd have a warning on that for NBA Jam, but... oh well. But yeah, today at the actual tournament though was the top 32 of Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. All of which were all amazing fights, all of which were everyone is sitting on the floor getting their butts sore and their backs broken out of place, and it was just fantastic. We were part of this mosh pit for quite a while, and I was able to bring a trail pad, and it was fun to sit on that too, but everyone complaining about the characters and whatnot, but it was just a long, fun day for that, that kind of stuff. But we commandeered Mortal Kombat at one point to get Tekken going, but Tekken got canceled last night, as I kind of talked about before, so it was sad. At least I get to play people, got destroyed by people because I don't play that game as much as I used to anymore, but probably better at Street Fighter now than I am at Tekken, but that's okay. What else? I think... Oh, we also saw Ju. We were surprised he was there. Chakmar, our friend Juichi from OUGA as well. I would have told him about the Thai stuff because he had all that together as well. But I didn't know he'd be able to make it Sunday. Because I guess they weren't strict on the spectators. So sorry we didn't invite you to spectate so you could just sneak in.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Turns out maybe didn't need to. Well, I mean,
he did for food and to enter the events. But
that's true.
It's kind of hard to say. So,
but if you want to come in and just spectate, and that includes playing casuals with
or seeing us.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
with their ties, and it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I know. It'd be amazing.
And I did. I finally. I didn't. I kind of put it off, but today I finally sat down with Skullgirls for a little bit.
Oh, Skullgirls.
Because I think AE finals were going on, and everybody was watching that, so there was no line. So I spent a little bit of quality time with it, and I'm a fan. I'm very excited for it. And really, what I really like in a fighting game or any game really is just really, really pretty 2D graphics. It's probably one of the reasons I like Third Strike so much.
For those who know about Skullgirls, Skullgirls is I guess it's made by an indie developer who's pretty much taken every good idea from every fighting game and just mashed it into one ball of or actually, no, I can't call it a ball. It's a sphere of just amazing fun.
I think it's Mike Z, who is a tournament player, the designer.
Oh, okay. That's even better. A tournament goer. He knows how the scenes work. He knows how the game balance mechanics work. It looks really fun to watch, too, which is very important when it comes to games like this. Is you want to be able to... You don't want it boring. So, you want to get that hype up.
I just... well, the thing I think I appreciate the most, just briefly, is you can pick the size of your team. You can go with one superpower character, one extra slightly above normal, or two slightly above normal power characters, or three normal power characters. So their power is determined by how many you choose. So if you don't like tag games,
you're not playing a tag game.
You can just play one character, and they'll be able to hold their own against a team of three. And it works, as far as I've been able to see.
And there's a lot of little subtleties in there that I really like. My favorite is when you have a team of multiple characters, and one of them gets killed off, their body stays on the battlefield. It's kind of hilarious, but they're kind of shoved into like the little bit of the background, so it's not in the way. But it's just great because it's just a course, and you get to fight around them.
Yeah, I think some early King of Fighters games did that actually.
Oh, did it?
But they did it by round.
Oh, okay.
So then it would just be like they would just be in the corner the next round.
I see.
But this one does. They just stay right where they fall. Or if you're playing as Fortune, you've got a body and probably a head somewhere else. That game was weird, but good and nice, and I liked it. So big excitement for that. I plan on getting that when it comes out, whenever it comes out.
And let's see. And what was it? So our plan. One of our failures today, unfortunately, but it was still fun to do. I was not able to run the V-Spike Super Ball tournament.
Right.
Which I realize is actually called Super Spike V-Ball at this point, but I'm just going to troll him the rest of the night by calling that game something else completely. So, Dot Sphere 98 was very fun to play. It was me and him versus Pops and T8. Very, very fun.
Yeah, we just did. Well, we tried to get a tournament together, but it just ended up being some matches of that 4-player, and it was a grand time. And we were Team Power.
Team Power.
Power.
Our guys were really slow, but they had power. They were able to hit the ball fast and far.
We just spiked through them, and they would explode. It would say kaboom on the screen.
Like, Pops' character would jump up to try to block, and then my character would just go, "You're going to block this and die," and then his character would die. So he would be able to receive it, but the guy was dead, so he couldn't, hit the ball pack. So for those who don't know volleyball, one player you cannot hit the ball twice when it's on their side of the net. So they have to have their partner do it. But very valiant fight, very fun. It would have been cool to have a tournament for it, but it's kind of hard to get hyped with that when we were in kind of the back rooms anyway.
Yeah.
And if NBA Jam can't happen in one that day,
oh yeah,
I don't think Rugby 2008 can happen either.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Or less than exactly. Just in terms of the title.
Oh, okay. But I thought I said Super Turbo 95 was the title.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I misheard you, I guess. I thought you said Super Spike V-Ball.
Oh. Who would have thought that?
Weird.
Very. But instead, that room got taken over by someone who was practicing an AE setup. I got to play him a few times because I got to use my Xbox controller as opposed to PS3 pad, which I'm kind of good with both now, it seems like. So
it's just a standard Xbox pad?
Yeah. So you can use that on the PC version of AE.
Oh, right.
Yes, and he was trying out a new stick that he won in the raffle, which was kind of cool. So they had the raffles. I don't think our guys won anything, even after all the tickets they won through Mario, but that's not what it was about. I don't think it was ever about that, but
it's about winning at Mario.
The stage was called Awesome too, which is something I wasn't aware of until last night.
Yeah, I think there's something kind of beautiful about T100 and Pops finally receiving a reward for being good at Mario.
Yes.
Because they're very good at Mario.
They're very disgustingly good at Mario.
And it's rare that much comes of that, but it did. And
something we might have to do with Expedition OUGA is have 2 Mario World setups and have them race to 100%.
Oh, jeez.
That'd be an epic day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to figure out when to do that. I don't know how long it would take them to do it, though. I can't imagine that long. Probably half an OUGA night, if that.
To get 100%?
Yeah. They're really...
You'd have to play through every stage, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but they're pretty good at this game, though.
They'd probably have to practice up.
Well, yeah, they would definitely practice up.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be very fun. That's for another day. Let's continue about today, though.
Yes.
So we're watching Grand Final. We're watching Marvel. Amazing games happening in Marvel. Kind of the crazy concept for those who don't know Marvel that well is there's a character on there that goes by the name of Phoenix who does a lot of damage but pretty much has 0 health. You can like punch her on the arm and she'd probably explode or something like that.
Right.
A death explosion, not the explosion that hurts you. It's just, I guess it would be more of an implosion at that point.
It was a implosion of some kind.
Yeah,
that implosion.
That hurts her more than you. But if this certain character has all 5 meters built up, it becomes Dark Phoenix. Who's also has less health than before, but he's even more powerful and even more faster than before. And the catch is that she loses health every second, or constantly, but that's where X Factor comes in, where you constantly gain health every second, so it just cancels each other out.
Yeah, and then you do combos that, well, you do like half a combo, and then their characters will explode.
Yeah, and when we say a combo, we mean like if you're pretty much on McFly's half of the screen, you're going to get hit by something. Kind of, it's that bad.
Well,
yeah.
But yeah, it was just a lot of Phoenix. But we talked a little bit about that yesterday because we talked about good versus evil.
That's true, and good prevailed. Unfortunately, evil prevailed today in the actual tournament because the grand finals were 2 Phoenix teams. So
yeah,
it's sad, but it happens. I guess they learned the fights.
I was excited because Cody won AE.
Oh, AE.
And I play Cody, and I thought that was nice.
Mm-hmm. I play Ryu, and he never makes it to the top 8.
Yeah. It was really close to Cody and Sakura in the finals, which I thought would have just been grand. But it ended up Ricky Ortiz ended up beating out.
Oh, wasn't it Rufus?
Yeah, and Ricky Ortiz was Rufus.
Yeah. Now the funny thing about Rufus that's awesome if you're in the back of the audience and you're watching all this is anytime Rufus does his ultra, he always ends with he always kicks the opponent up in the sky and then puts his hands up like this as they're landing, so they pretty much breaks their spine, thus killing a normal person. But these are street fighters; they can take it. They can be lit on fire or electrocuted or have their souls ripped out, and they'll still walk up and punch you in the face.
Yeah.
So, but anytime that happens, the entire audience they'll just go whoo every time, and it's really fun because there's not a lot of games that do that anymore. And you don't really get that. You don't get that color in the atmosphere. I'm trying to push it with Phoenix myself, but no one likes Phoenix, so it can't really work. But where anytime she does her Phoenix wave attack special, you just go like a bird. I think that'd be fantastic. But people don't like Dark Phoenix. If you met Dark Phoenix in an alley, it'd be its corpse because there'd be already a mob that murdered the Dark Phoenix beforehand.
Unless she had X Factor.
Oh, right. 30 seconds later, the next crowd that would be there. So I guess it would be 18 corpses, one of the main Dark Phoenixes.
Right.
And 0 body parts. But anyways, as in the character 0's body parts, not no body parts.
Right. One of the other things, Pops spent much of the day playing Marvel 3 more. He wasn't in Top 32, which was covered today, but he did casuals, and I believe he did a rematch against the player that knocked him out.
Yes,
he played Mike Ross and he lost. Then he played this other player who I don't know the name of.
I don't remember either.
But he's at least a Wolverine player. I just heard a lot about this Wolverine.
We were both not present when Pops was playing Marvel, unfortunately, on Friday, so we can't really know the details.
But he had a rematch against this guy and won.
Ooh.
Which furthers my belief that Pops is really good at Marvel 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Terrifyingly good. It's Pops the video game.
Pops the video game. It's just built for that man. It's just kind of disgusting, but I did see him do something cool and something that's actually kind of. I mean, it's not common knowledge when it comes to the game itself, but it's considered one more like, oh, okay, it makes sense when you describe it that way. But it was Pops only had his one guy, Spencer, left, which is kind of his wild card character because not a lot of players use a Spencer, good old bionic arm from Bionic Commando. But he's up against a Akuma Wesker. The Wesker throws out his super and drops the super in the middle of it, so the Spencer's able to block. And then manages to switch out and bring in Akuma. Akuma charges up his awesome fireball attack, and Pop said, no, I'm going to go Bionic Arm, which is an attack that travels through full screen, and you're invincible the entire time. So thus he just went through the beam and just killed Akuma. And then when Wesker came in, killed him too. So it was just kind of like a Pops moment there.
He's ridiculous with that Bionic Arm. And he did that in the Mike Ross fight. He did a Bionic Arm to one side of the screen, and then X Factor canceled it, and then managed to hit him on the way back with another Bionic Arm.
Yes.
It was pretty.
It was very gorgeous. Until you realize that Pops is a snake charming villain who will eat babies.
He did that once.
Oh, that's true.
I feel like we generalized because of that experience.
Yeah. It's a pretty terrifying experience.
Yeah.
But that's in the past. I mean,
yeah.
He's not going to do anything like that. Death race. Anyway, but then something happened during finals that kind of needs to be addressed. Our friend here was summoned away because his retro challenge was being challenged.
Oh, yeah. I had a and I made it. I mentioned this yesterday, and it was my entire day today, which is, well, you know, yesterday they had Super Mario World at T800, and Pops took that, and today they had NES Donkey Kong, which I first and foremost consider myself a classic arcade gamer more than anything else. So I decided that I must have it.
He's trying to be eventual.
And
don't give him hot sauce for profits. It's not good.
I really wanted an American flag tie that I could wear there, but she didn't have one. What are you gonna do?
Because I have a soul.
Right.
And I hate America, apparently, because I just said that. So, anyway.
Oh, my God.
Don't mind me.
But I've been practicing since the beginning of the thing because they had the other games for the future days, like, sitting there, so I knew what they were. And so I've been practicing up. I've been getting physically ready, mentally prepared. And, well, I found out that...
Which must be kind of annoying having that song stuck in your head. It's do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. 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 Like that?
Yeah. Not as much as you would expect. Not that bad.
Oh, that's good. It's like that for me. Anyways.
But I had a back and forth battle against one player. And actually, I live tweeted this whole event, and I didn't say the player's name then, and I won't say it now because I don't know if he wants.
Hey McFly,
Huh?
which Twitter account should be subscribed so you can see such things? I don't remember.
Well, if you go onto Twitter and look up, it is Seamus McFly, one word, SeamusMcFly. You can review the epic that went through about a dozen Twitter updates throughout the day
Yes.
of this back and forth battle I had with this player, this master of Donkey Kong, in which I was on top. It was just really just us, as I understand it.
What people don't realize is there was a Ultimate Mortal Kombat tournament that happened today. It wasn't actually the game Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. It was actually between these two titans and Donkey Kong.
Yeah. That was the Ultimate Mortal Kombat tournament. It was Ultimate Combat Among Mortals, which is the way you do that is Donkey Kong. But ultimately,
the K in Kong is the same K used in combat.
Ultimately, it was $1 per play, which was kind of the big thing, and I spent all of my dollars, and I came really close, and my score was only beaten by a little bit, but I ran out of money.
It was such a great deal because you go to an arcade and you see a Donkey Kong machine, you get 3 lives for a quarter, but here at Seasons Beatings, oh, this is a normal Donkey Kong.
1 life for $1.
1 life for $1. Oh man, this is high stakes we're at there. Maybe that's why we're wearing this, because we have to prove we're at the correct social status for such an amazing, expensive event. So
it was expensive, but it was ultimately I just got outplayed. He was a good player, and I talked to him a lot, and he was a good guy, and just a great Donkey Kong player. And though the one thing that I felt kind of bad because I had been practicing on this,
cheater.
and I was like, well, I was kind of trying to do it off the sidelines. Like, I don't really want people to see this. This had happened. We mentioned yesterday with the Tony Hawk thing. Set the precedent, but I feel like it evened out because he had an arcade stick, like a fight stick, that somehow had a port for Super Nintendo on it. Because it was on an FC Twin, which is NES and Super Nintendo cartridge slots, but it uses Super Nintendo controllers.
Yes.
And what I had to use was this FC Twin controller that it was bad. It had like a sticky D-pad, and it had like a mushy D-pad, which isn't good for Donkey Kong.
I probably should have just let you one of those.
Maybe.
I
really wanted to use that was a mushy D-pad too. I would have liked to have used the NES controllers that you had, but I didn't have ports for those.
Yes.
And I was not at all comfortable with this controller. In fact, my first 2 games that I tried on it, my first $2 that I spent, were literally a 300-point game and a 100-point game.
Sounds like something I would do in that game. My God.
And just for a point of reference, the 2 digits, the 1s and 10s digits, are always 0. So 100 is the absolute lowest score you can have that isn't 0. And I did it. But ultimately, for the 1 life challenge, my highest score was like 58,000 some, I think.
Sounds about right.
And his was just over 60,000, so it was close.
But what was disturbing is that he was able to hit 67,000 on the DS, I believe, at one point.
Yeah, well, I was still...
Doesn't count if you can't do it in both.
I hadn't got to Momo's yet, but Keister was there, and he sent me a text that it was a 1 life challenge, so I just busted the thing open and I tried. And on like my 3rd attempt, I got like 67,000, and I was unable to replicate that. It's the high pressure environment, sketchy controller. But these are excuses. I didn't win, but I was sad, and I'm now broke, which is not a good combination.
It is not.
But it was a good competition, and I was just.
He also has no money. He's just broke.
Just a great back and forth battle, and that's what I wanted. More so than just sweeping it, even if I got money out of it. I just wanted the battle. I got it. So that was the highlight of like my month.
Very, very honorable. Sorry, people who ever wanted to give them highlights the rest of October, but you're not gonna. You're gonna have to try again in November. It's true. Sorry.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong. I know it's starting DS. You had Donkey Kong Jr. on there too. That's actually the one I'm better at.
Oh yeah. Me too. I've played a lot of Donkey Kong Jr. in arcades.
Yes. Plus it was one of Keister's. What was it? The KACC. Keister Arcade Classic Challenge or something like that. But something we used to do with OUGA where I would post one credit attempts at different arcade games, and then I'd say, okay, if people can beat this, then, and whoever does the best, I'd give a new one each, I give three per quarter. If whoever could beat all three of them would get 500 Wii points or something like that, which all of us had Wii's back then, or was actually playing their Wii's and buying stuff with Wii points instead of hacking them. So it was actually kind of cool. It was kind of fun. But Donkey Kong Jr. was one of them.
I wasn't aware there were people among us that weren't still using their Wii's constantly. Oh, you mean instead of hacking them?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Elevator Action was another good one. That game's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I hear they're making a new one actually. Or they're remaking.
Oh yeah. There's a downloadable one that's coming out.
That's gonna be fun.
Looks super cool.
Oh man.
And Burger Time.
Burger Time?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Burger Time World Tour is coming out.
Oh gosh.
It looks great.
Good old games being revamped up for today. Amazing. So,
but really, ultimately, there was a prize for second place for Donkey Kong. It was a pat on the back. First place was 70% of the money that went into people trying the dollars that people gave to try their hand at Donkey Kong. And second place was a pat on the back, which I got, and I have photographic evidence. It was sweet. I'm gonna be honest.
Indeed. Focus Fire, for those who don't know, there's actually a group of gamers. It actually might be an official company by now, but they actually supply the TVs and game systems for people to run tournaments. So usually when I run a tournament, I ask people to bring their own, but not everyone can lug their stuff over or may have one to do the responsibility for it. So for larger tournaments, they hire Focus Fire to do it for them, which is pretty cool. And so they had a booth set up, and that's where they were doing the retro challenge to try to give away prizes and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Indeed.
So really, I'm so tired. And it doesn't help that I stayed up just way too late last night, because at the point where I should have gone to bed, me and T800 stayed up and watched Howard the Duck on Netflix. Not a good movie. And then we were up till 7:30.
Yikes.
And that was how I kicked off this day when I woke up at noon. So that's catching up to me, but I was able to stay wired and play Donkey Kong all day and just enjoy the glories of Seasons Beatings. It was great.
Pretty amazing.
It was a polar blast.
Indeed. Jesus, look at that right now. Actually, it's keeping me awake to do this cast. Buy some today. Fantastic.
They didn't pay us to say that. In fact, we paid them for the Polar Blast.
Yeah.
We don't even get that for free.
Right. I'm willing to pay them to have me say buy Polar Blast. So
that's fair.
It is fun. And then one other important thing that happened today was I was talking with the manager at Xenos. I'm sorry, I always do this. Xenos is where I used to run events, but it's kind of too small, and they kind of put a age cap on our stuff. But I am now going to be able to run stuff at Momo's, which is the place they do Seasons Beatings.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. So starting Wednesday night, Columbus Fight Nights will be at Momo's. We may possibly stream it just because it'll be an epic, like, first time at Momo's kind of thing for us. So it's going to be...
I will watch that stream.
It's going to be very cool. But no guarantees on that because we're just going to try to feel it out, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to work. So this is the manager's really excited.
I gotta move to Columbus.
I think pretty much the entire world has to move to Columbus. Careful there. There's no ocarinas to be CC playing to like stop this thing from breaking, so we gotta make sure we don't hit this table here. But yes, tournaments. My tournaments are gonna be at Momo's after this next Kakato that's in December. That's gonna be at Xenos. I really liked Xenos. It was fun, but
Xenos was a good venue, and it had I think the appropriate amount of Pac-Man Battle Royale, which is one. Well, yeah, it's just.
I still haven't played it.
Really?
Yeah, because people usually don't want to play it. They don't want to do it with more people. The only people that would do it would be OUGA people, but they only come when I had a tournament, and I have to run a tournament to do it. So yeah.
that was what we did. Like I would just leave tournaments. I would sign up for a tournament, and I'd just be like, if they called me my match, it would just be, forget it, Pac-Man. And just bring quarters, barrels of quarters.
Yeah, I've never seen an oil drum of quarters until I met this guy.
Serious about Pac-Man.
I'm sure it's fun. Someday I'll know. Someday.
There it is.
Oh! But, I don't know. Is that a wrap? I think we got everything covered today.
I think so. We have a total cross-counter vibe going on here.
And do we?
Which, I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking cross-counter because I've been near Gutex and Mike Ross all weekend.
Yes.
And too frightened to talk to them.
You should have just gone up and talked to them. I should have just pushed him in, you know? And like, oh, look, he's smiling at you. He's going to want to talk to you. You're great. You're grand. You'll just have to wait till the next one, I guess.
Yeah, you need an excuse to go to more of them.
It's true. Though I'm not sure what the next big tournament is that they would go to. That being Columbus, to be honest. So yeah, it's kind of disturbing.
I don't know. I might do more traveling or not. I am, as I've mentioned before, broke.
None money.
Zero.
Which is bad because don't you own the mob money?
The what money?
Don't you own like don't you owe the mob like money?
Oh, do I owe them money? Yes. And that aspect of my life is going.
Should I have even mentioned that on this?
I think it's something we probably should have discussed beforehand.
Oh. I kind of assume it was just common knowledge at this point. And
well, you can probably assume that, but probably not best to mention it specifically on the internet.
Oh, but we only had 34 viewers on the first video, I thought. But
it's not good when you have more minutes than viewers.
Oh,
or really good.
Oh,
because you're important. You guys.
No, not you guys, invisible punks. We see you back there. Trying to make faces and make me laugh. God, that was weird. Anyways. And yes, I'm aware of how ironic that was of me mentioning an invisible face. I can see anything. Help. Yes. So,
well, we're going to get you to a hospital now because I'm really starting to be concerned.
Mm-hmm. I should be concerned, but somehow not. So, but anyways, we're going to be signing off. We got a nice, solid 45-minute podcast now. Now it's going to end in 30 seconds. So, glad you enjoyed these. Watch all of them. watch them again, burn them on illegally download them onto DVDs and burn them so you can watch them even more.
We'll only sue you a little bit.
Yes. So this is TheKiest signing off, representing original uploaders of GamingOdds.com.
And McFly signing also off, representing, I don't have any article clothing for it, but steelmcfly.com.
And that's about it. Bye-bye.
I'll see you cool cats later. Don't change. Thank God that's over.
Yes.